Pujama flip.
Pujama flip.
So rather than start the video all the way through showing you where I hit problems, etc., I thought I'd start off with some top tips that I came across while doing this job. So number one, I'd say, is get yourself one of these. It's just like an aerial that extends out. There's a magnet on the end of it. If you drop a bolt or something like that, it will save you an immense amount of time taking stuff off, because you can get it down to little gaps and lift it back out again. Number two, on the actual bike itself, when you take off this part of the bike here, which fits under here all the way around, the bolts it has, or the clips it has, to clip here and a clip up here that slide in that way when you're putting it back in, and so getting them off is quite difficult. You have to crack it out. Everywhere else, so if you've taken off all the fixings, so places like here, there are poppers that pop out underneath. Next one is this bolt here. You can see it, just that one there. Behind that is a rubber bung. The rubber bung is really designed to be a one-use only piece. It's rubber with a bolt inside it. As the bolt is done up, it expands the rubber out, and so if you then try and reuse it, it doesn't work terribly well. You can reuse it. That one I've got there is being reused. You can see, if you look really close to the bolt, is actually sitting slightly strangely as a result, but it's holding in fine. But it's better if you can replace it while you're doing it. The next thing I'd say is, wherever you have one of these bolts going through, check behind it. If it's got a clip that holds in place, like a U-shaped clip that holds in place and the bolt goes to, make sure it's nice and tight in the fitting. Otherwise you'll find that when you go to put the bolt back in at the end, the clip may well fall out and into the bodywork of the bike, which is incredibly frustrating. The next thing I'd say is that when you are taking off, if you're taking off this part of the bike here, this whole section here, the bolts which hold it in, so it's held in by the 4 bolts here, and the nuts that are in the tail section are just held in with 2 little plastic sort of clips as part of the moulding. When I was putting this back together, they kept on falling back out into the actual section, which is when it's going back on, it's a sealed section. You can break it apart, you'll see in the video, but it's a sealed section, and it meant that every time one of them fell apart, I had to break it off and refill it and put it back in. So what I did is, I've got in my massive bolt section, I've got these really long bolts, which are the right size. I think they're 10mm, but I'm not 100% sure. But basically I put 4 of those in to hold it in place, and then I changed them one at a time out for the proper bolts, and that meant that the actual nuts at this other side didn't fall down. And that is about it on tips. So on to the video. So in this video I'm going to be fitting some cameras, front and rear, and a sat nav to this 2019 NC750X. I'm going to be fitting the front camera just right at the nose here. I haven't decided whether I'm going on top or underneath, but it will be very similar to the nose of this 2021 NC. How I fitted it there, and then at the back, again there's a nice suitable point where I can fit it just on here, which quite similarly matches where the camera's been fitted on that one, and then the sat nav obviously will go onto the handlebars. So the first thing I need to do is to strip the bike down, get all of the panelling off on this side and down the back, so that I can get easy access to run wiring, etc. Okay, so as you saw, that was super easy. Maybe not. So all the side panels off, all the way down there, so I should be able to run wires easy enough. I've left this panel on because to take it off I've got to take half of this pannier rack etc. off, and to be honest, if you were to look, there's a little gap there so I can run wires up in there without any trouble, and they'll come out here easily enough as well. I've removed the rear light, you see all my bits down there. I removed the rear light, and I've also undone the rear number plate holder etc. This is purely so that when I drill in here to put the wire through, I should be able to fish it out from there a lot easier to get it out of the gap. I might have a look and see if I can actually take this apart further so I can get in underneath to get the wire through. Okay, so as you can see, that worked pretty well. I've got the thing open, which means running the wire is going to be a lot easier. On top of that, I didn't quite get it all the way off because I couldn't get in underneath there to do it properly, but it's pretty good. Now what I've got to do is actually fit the stuff to it, and there's my slight mess of wires etc. to put in. Here we go. Okay, so the camera is in place. I've just stuck that one on with 3M tape. The Sat Nav is in place. It's quite a nice place to put it. This is on the NC because it sits in the centre pretty well, but without fouling the dashboard at all. And then the control I've put for the camera there, and the rear camera here, and so now it's just a case of doing the wiring and tidying it all up and putting the bike back together. So that's it, bike all back together. Front camera there. There's the Sat Nav all plumbed in, and the rear camera is down there. There you go, with the gubbins currently tucked away under there. In a moment I'm going to cover that in a bag so it's nice and waterproof, just to be on the safe side, and tuck it right up in there basically. But that's it for the video. Hope it's been of help to you, and thank you very much for watching.